Welcome back. This is Billy with Coach Dooley's List. And once again, if you're enjoying these coaching videos, please like and subscribe to the YouTube page and follow along on all of our social media platforms. Today, I am here at Buford High School with head girls soccer coach Megan Hill. And Coach Hill, thank you so much for meeting with us.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll jump right into it. I see all your pictures and accolades and things. And, I've gotten to know you a little bit over the last several years, got to know your husband
Yes.
and work with him in softball. So just tell everybody, your coaching journey and how you ended up here at Buford.
Let's see. I am local. I went to North Gwinnett, and from North Gwinnett, jumped to Southern Miss, played ball at Southern Miss, and realized that I was not ready to give up soccer. So then I was Don Martelli, who was big in the soccer world, and I actually coached his nieces here. He helped me kind of get into the soccer world, so I ended up as a GA for Jay Entlick at Columbus State. So got my master's down there in Columbus State, learned a lot from Jay Entlick. He ended up being my mentor. Still talk to him, actually. And then from there, he actually hired me as his assistant coach. So I spent some time with Jay there at Columbus State. And then Ryan, my now husband, decided to get married, and we actually ended up saying, like, whoever gets a job first moves. So he applied for jobs down there. I applied for jobs up in this area because he was at Appalachia student teaching. And I ended up getting a job at my first teaching job at Shiloh High School. And we moved up here, and I kind of got out of the college world. Coached at Shiloh for a year. It was an interesting situation. Coached at Shiloh for a year, taught at Shiloh for 2 years, and then ended up coaching at Peachtree Ridge the second year, and started my journey at Peachtree Ridge coaching and teaching there for 8 years. And then ended up coming over here in 2019 and have been here since. So
we just talked COVID year.
COVID year, yes.
So moving into a new program and trying to get things going, I know that's difficult. But, in coming over here and going through your coaching journey, and having mentors, I love that coaches often talk about their mentors, especially still keeping in touch with them. And I know you've probably become a mentor to some young ones as well. But in learning all coming from the college world, I know soccer's big and club and those kind of things. So taking all those things, you build what do you want your program to be about? So what is it, here at Buford, what do you want your girls soccer program to be known for?
So hopefully when the girls graduate from here, and even when I was at Ridge, we focus a lot on becoming a good all-around student athlete, but more importantly, a good female human. Like, how are you going to take what we've given you and be a better teammate or just a better person? A lot of the girls, when they graduate, they're either not going to play college and soccer, they're not going to play professional soccer. So how are you going to show up on time to work? How are you going to face adversity if you don't get the job that you want? How are you going to respond to failure when you fail a class in college, or when you break up with your boyfriend in the real life, or when you face challenges in life in general, or just relationships in general. So a lot of what we do within the inner workings of our program are a lot of relationship building. And I think a lot of the previous players that have graduated from here, when they look back, maybe they don't realize it when they're here, but when they graduate, hopefully they can look back and go, oh my gosh, maybe what we were trying to do, they could have taken something from and learned from that. So, and we've heard from a lot of previous players and said, like, maybe how thankful they were that we did maybe not go out to practice and run them that day, and we stayed in the classroom and worked on we call PGMs, which is personal growth mentalities, or Personal Growth Monday, where we talk about a conflict or how to deal with something, and we a journal, or We write about how we're going to deal with a situation or things like that. So.
No, I love those things because all of that stuff matters. And more I talk to coaches, we talk about like you have to literally teach them everything you want. How to deal with a ref making a call, how to deal with a teammate who you got in a fight with in class and now she wants you to pass her the ball.
Exactly.
Like you have to be able to get past those things. And if you don't address it, you'd like to think, hey, we just step on the field and soccer becomes soccer. But that's not the case. And, so in growing those relationships and working with those kids, you talk about too, going back to those kids that come down later, the ones a lot of time I think that we see as maybe not necessarily ungrateful, but don't get it while they're here. Those are the ones that always come back 4 or 5 years down the road and go, you remember when you said this, which is always great. And I try to tell young coaches all the time, like it's going to happen. Like it's a thankless job, but you'll get it at the most random spots. Maybe at Kroger, you run into somebody and they'll start talking about practice and all that, which is so cool. So, and building all those relationships and being in different programs, every coach has like their favorite stories they like to tell or that, make them smile. So what's one of your favorite coaching stories?
Oh gosh.
Tell as many as you want.
Oh geez. Favorite coaching stories? Like, oh man. Embarrassing moments.
Yes.
Gosh. I could give you a lot of those. I'm sure my players could give you a lot of those. There's a couple here, I'm sure. One, maybe when I was at Ridge, this was a long time ago. I'll never forget is the girls were not doing a drill properly. And I think I had just had my first child. So I was probably not in the best shape to explain and demonstrate the drill, that I was so hot that they were not doing properly. And it was very basic, and they were not cutting right and striking the ball properly. And so I felt the need to demonstrate that for them and ended up demonstrating because I was so hot and whiffed the ball and went straight on my back. And that was probably the most embarrassing coaching moment.
Now, what was the reaction?
Oh,
because you're
mad.
They
didn't know whether they should laugh or whether they should help me. And so they looked at my assistant coach, Kara, who's been with me since the beginning of coaching. And Kara was laughing. And so then everybody was like, yes, okay, this is an okay moment. And I'm looking at the sky and we were all, it was like, okay, let's move on. So, and I still think to this day, that whole crew still remembers that moment. And yeah.
Oh, and those are the things you remember. You could have gone undefeated, one region, and all those things, and you ask them what they remember about the season.
Well, and some of their senior night remarks, that was their favorite moment in their senior night remarks. And then in the Buford era, a lot of the senior night remarks, we went on a whitewater rafting trip, and there were rafts flipping and kids swimming, and that was a fun time too. And a lot of the senior night remarks or favorite coaching moments are usually not made on a soccer field.
Right.
They're usually off the field moments. And so I think those are some of the great times that my favorite memories are usually the ones that are off the soccer field. So.
Well, and those are the ones that keep you going.
Yes.
when it gets tough, like you can always look back on those and remember things. Or the kids are going to bring it up at times where, they're ADD heads. It just pops up and they'll bring it up. Maybe in the middle of trying to, get a point across in practice. But and again, I know you build great relationships with your players. And like you said, you've got one assistant coach that's been with you for a long time. If one of those players or an assistant or anybody ever came to you and said, Coach Hill, I want to be a head coach one day, what piece of advice would you give them?
Oh, I would love that. I would tell them, first of all, I would welcome them with open arms. I would have them join me immediately. I actually had one in my office yesterday and I was like, please come back to me. Like, get in the education world, you can come be a lay coach. We can get you in some coaching courses. Like we went through coaching courses, go to, soccer conventions, get through the coaching education stuff. Coaching the young teams, the youth teams are great because it prepares them for, coaching in the older age groups too. There's a lot of similarities, even coaching high school kids and young kids that you can see. Even though they're big kids, they're still little at heart. Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of time, but it is very rewarding. Because especially the high school girls, they're with you most of the day. Like I see my high school girls once a day for 50 minutes a day. And then in season, I'm seeing them twice a day. So the relationships that I'm building with them is very similar, especially in season, to the relationships I'm building with my own kids,
right,
especially during season. So, but any of those players that come back and want to get into coaching, I'm here for them, and I would suggest that they go through any kind of educational coaching program, and yeah, I mean, that'd be great.
Well, I love what you said too. Like, just go to some clinics, come
For
on
sure.
and be a lay coach, because there are so many people, and most people, at 25 still don't know what they're going to do with their life.
Right.
And, if it's something you want to do, because we need coaches.
Yes.
We need coaches. We need good coaches. We need people that are good with kids.
Mm-hmm.
Coaching's not always X's and O's. Sometimes it's just being that person who can relate to kids. And,
Yes.
There are duties for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I know you said bringing Ryan on, he's got his duties this year, which I think is awesome.
Yes.
And so with all the duties that you do have, a lot of it has to do with budgeting, ordering things, and that kind of stuff.
That's not the fun stuff.
No, nobody ever. I tell my fundraising people all the time. Nobody ever starts the year going, "Man, I can't wait to start fundraising."
I know.
Sometimes buying the uniforms can be fun.
Yeah, those are fun. Actually, we cut a couple boxes that just came in. Actually, I just opened them up today, so I'm excited about those.
So with all those, you work with different vendors, and that could be anything. It's not always just uniforms, but I always ask for coaches. Who are some vendors that you've loved to work with that you would shout out to other coaches if they ever asked?
We have some vendors that we have like a contract with. Obviously, Baker's we have contracts with Nike, but some local vendors here, especially in Buford, downtown Buford, local collection. Those ladies do a fantastic job. All of our coaching gear gets embroidered through them, and they're fabulous. They are all things Buford. They do a wonderful job there. And then I end up getting all the things from all of our Nike stuff, and then I end up sending it to Cotton Eye Joe's. And they do all of our screen printing and things like that, and they do a wonderful job. Never had an issue with them as far as messing up material or anything like that, which is great. So, yeah, I mean, those are two vendors that we really work with a lot.
That's awesome. And again, that's what coaches want to know. And it doesn't mean everybody's perfect, but they're going to communicate with you. They're going to get things done, get it right, and get what you pay for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, Coach, listen, I know you've got kids in the gym getting ready to go again, but I do appreciate the time meeting with us, and best of luck this season.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.